What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I'm joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, it is the season that I forget about you for a little while. We have a special guest on today, Angels closer, Ben Joyce. Ben, does that ever get old to say Angels closer? I know you kind of took over from Carlos Estevez, but I mean, Angels closer, it's pretty sweet.
No, I love it. It's what I've always wanted. So to hear people say it, it's really cool.
Oh man, yeah, no, we're it's been a little while. I know Angels fans haven't had Carlos Tevez, but a closer in quite some time. Nate is a closer advocate. So I don't
You
know
know,
if
all
you
the good teams have one. We'll just say it right now. All the teams in the postseason have one, and they are winning right now. Just saying.
all right.
Pay
Nate,
closers.
Nate, how you doing since you're here?
I'm good. Pay closers. It's a big deal. They win games. Luke Weaver's doing a great job for it. This reason the Yankees are there. Yeah, we'll move on.
All right. I'll get the analytics out of here. That's fine. Ben, first and foremost, you have the Hurricane Relief Fund, which impacted a lot of people, Hurricane Helene. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy because I don't think people realize how bad it is in North Carolina, East Tennessee. Because it came obviously it was terrible in Florida. I'm just familiar with the areas in Tennessee and North Carolina because I grew up in that area. And there's people there who got 30 inches of rain. They lost houses, they lost schools, everything. They still don't have running water. The roads are completely gone. So it's hard to see. We drove through North Carolina here a few weeks ago, and it was terrible to see just how devastating it was in those areas. And it's been really cool how people have come together to support those areas. Tony Vitello, coach at Tennessee, has been big with food drives, and Morgan Wallen's a East Tennessee guy. I got to go to his food drive a few weeks ago, and it was cool to see the support that he's gotten for that, and just trying to do whatever I can, even if it's just a little bit. So if anyone's listening, can go over to my Instagram page, and there's a little donation, anything even as small as $1 or less, like anything's helpful, and just would appreciate any support for that.
Absolutely. And if you're watching us on YouTube, I'll drop the link in the description down below for Ben. It goes to a great cause of course. I'm a big weather guy. I enjoy watching weather, but yeah, I watched that hurricane. Not good back to back for Tampa Bay as well. And I mean, like you said, everybody's it's been rough for everybody down there over the past month or so. So yeah, any little bit helps. Definitely go help out. Onto the shoulder. How's the shoulder doing?
Yeah, it's great. Took a few weeks off of throwing and kind of just let it calm down. Just kind of some inflammation. Everything structurally was good, which was very reassuring to see. But just kind of once I gave it some time to calm down and just working through range of motion exercises and all that, it's been feeling a lot better, and just looking forward to having a healthy off season.
Sweet. Awesome. That's great to hear. Ready for spring training, hopefully.
Yeah, oh yeah. I'm all good now. Just kind of working back into the throwing program and everything, and then definitely going to spring training 100%. And just excited to kind of build up this off season and get ready for that.
Awesome. Yeah, I know Angels fans we're very upset when you went down with shoulder injury. We're hoping you were going to get back into it. I know you were hoping you were going to get back into it. I think, at least from what was said in the media, Ron Washington kind of shut you down a little bit, which might have been best for the future and things like that. But yeah, super excited for 2025 and what that brings, not just for you, but for the Angels in general. Young, fun core group of guys there for sure. But back onto the 2024 season, you had a fantastic season prior to the injury. What was the key to the success this year, man?
I think it's just at the end of the day, it's such a mental game, and for me, I just kind of was. I felt like sometimes kind of holding myself back, whether that's like a fear of failure. It's hard when you first come up, so it's a little overwhelming at first, and I think for me, I just went out there, and at the end of the day, just went out there and trusted my stuff, and trusted that I can get anybody out if I'm convicted in my pitches. And I think that's what you hear a lot from pitchers, but it's really crazy how different it is when you're in that mindset. And it was going out there, trusting my stuff, and knowing that I can get anybody out in the league. And I think that's where I saw the biggest change in my pitching, because I think it was all there. It was just kind of putting it all together at the right time with that convicted mindset. And I think that's where I kind of flipped the switch.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nate, I know you have a question here, but question on top of that as well. Was there any difference pre Carlos Estevez trade and post Carlos Estevez trade that went into it besides pitching in the ninth inning more?
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I kind of just for me, I try to attack every outing the same way. Like, I mean, you never know like what inning could be the deciding inning in a game. So for me, I was trying to put the team in a position to win every time I went out there, do my job. I think that's kind of a big thing with a lot of these young guys. It's cool to see they're for the team and they're just trying to do their job, and that's kind of I was trying to do that as well. And at the end of the day, when he got traded, and obviously it was between a few guys to throw the ninth inning, I was very, very much ready for that, and I was excited for the opportunity to go out there and finish out a game. So it was just kind of treating it the same way, but it's obviously a higher level of intensity when you're out there in the bottom or top of the ninth inning. So it was just kind of trying to, I feel like, prepare myself up until he got traded, and then from that point on, it was just go out there and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, again, awesome to see. I know there hasn't, the Angels haven't had a lot to, Angels fans haven't had a lot to look up to when it comes to, the bullpen. But obviously, with you in the back of the bullpen, the big fastball and everything like that, it's a lot of fun. I'm hoping that the Angels get you a light show here pretty soon or something when you're running in at some point. So, Nate, I know you got a couple questions. Take it away, man.
Yeah, and him speaking on the mental side of the game, I love talking about that. Love Brian Kane. Got to hear Corbin Burns talk a little bit about how Brian Kane has changed his career and made him who he is today. So I think that's incredibly important. And hearing that you've got to kind of learn and grow in that is huge for you, I think. Um, Tommy Edman, I mean, we got to talk about it. You hit 105. Talk through the at bat. What was it like? You smirked when you saw the radar gun. What was it like? Talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was just that freeway series is so electric. It kind of brings out a different intensity in everybody. I mean, just sold out crowd anytime is so fun to pitch in. So it was 2-2 game, top of the ninth. Like you're gonna just have that extra level of adrenaline, and I think that's kind of came out there. It was one of those where I was like, I'm gonna throw my fastball because I think that's like I want to get beat on my best pitch, and I just kind of went to that consistently, that at bat, and I just started off I think with the two sliders, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And then just trusting my stuff. Like at the end of the day, it's Hoppy puts down the call, and I'm like, yeah, like we're on the same page. So it's just throwing it with full conviction. And to be honest, I didn't feel like that was the hardest pitch I threw. I just kind of looked up and saw it, and I was like, I just couldn't like there's like a little flame that goes across the number, and I was like, no way. And then I turned around and looked at the scoreboard and saw that. So that was just a cool moment to see. Just everything combined. It was just finishing the inning and keeping the game tied, and then just throwing my hardest pitch in my pro career was kind of a mix of all those emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, giving him a chance to win the freeway series, that was huge. And big AB, and I mean he's playing really well in the postseason. So that was a big out at that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So let's move on to the first career save. You got it against the Mets. Talk to us about that. Also, you had a fantastic celebration. I want to know a little bit about that celebration into the squat, which I know was showing around a lot. So talk to us about your first career save against the Mets, man.
Yeah, that was I'll never forget that. Honestly, it was. I mean, got to come in the eighth, finish that inning. I felt like it was honestly the biggest pitch I made the whole outing. Was in the eighth inning to get out of the jam, and then obviously wanted to come out for the ninth. Kind of made that very obvious, and I think they were on board. So got to come out for the ninth and face the top of the lineup was even cooler. I mean, Lindor, obviously he's potential MVP. So getting to kind of face that top of the lineup, and I mean, even JD, I mean, I've grown up watching him, and he actually trains at the same place that I do in the off season. So kind of a little um, another extra. I mean, you don't really need much extra adrenaline in that situation first save, but even a little more like competitiveness. It's like, all right, I got to see you in the off season. Like, I can't let you get me here. Um, and then, I mean, that got 2 outs quick, I felt like, and then felt like I was kind of in cruise control there. And me and O'Hobby were on the same page. Like, we're gonna go all four seams here, just big on big, whatever you want to call it. And through the first two, the last pitch, I couldn't hear the pitch comm. So he used the last mound visit, came out, and he was like, "I want to go slider here," and I was like, "No, we're going heater here." And he was like, "All right, I like that. I wanted to do that, but I just I wanted to show the slider." And I was like, "No, we're getting him right here on a heater." And he was all on board with it. We were both on the same page there, and just kind of let it rip. And that was one of those situations too where I looked up, and at the time that was the hardest pitch I'd thrown in pro ball. I think it was 104.7 or something. So it was kind of a mix of that, and obviously first save. So just ended up in a squat. I don't really. I was kind of trying to flex, and then ended up doing a squat. It just was. I'm glad it turned into something funny because I don't really know why I did that. It wasn't planned at all. Um, and then O'Hoppy wouldn't stop laughing at me for like 24 hours. So that was funny too.
I mean, everybody's got to have a signature move. I mean, Estevez had the, hama hama ha.
Uh,
You could do the squat. That's
I'm
totally
still trying to
fine.
figure out what my signature move is gonna be. Maybe I'll let kind of freestyle until I find one that sticks.
I love it. I love it. Well, I mean, Angels fans, if you got anything for him, let's drop a comment, let him know what he needs to do
Definitely, I'm
for his
open to suggestions for sure.
for his ninth inning move. So, a couple more questions here for you. Obviously, we talked a lot about the big time, the heater, the 104, 105. You added in, I believe it's the splinker, kind of like
Mhm.
that Paul Skeens type of splinker, as well as you have the slider. Talk about the importance of those two pitches this year, and how where the splinker even came from.
Yeah, I mean, with my arm slot, just kind of how I released the baseball, a sinker was always something that I was toying with because my fastball kind of gets sink anyways. So it was one of those where I was just kind of trying to mess with the grip and see if I could kill some more vert on it and just have it be a true sinker. It never really found a grip that stuck and had the results that I wanted. So it kind of pushed it to the side, and then talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the year when I was in Double A. But at that point, it was just my four seam was playing so well, it wasn't really worth adding that in. And then got called up and kind of struggled the first few outings with the four seam. I couldn't get it up in the zone as much as I wanted to. Was getting hit a little bit, so it was one of those where we just kind of pregame bullpen or throwing session, just we are messing with the grip. And it was actually Hunter Strickland that showed me his one seam grip. And so what I did with that is I just kind of took the one seam, messed around with my how my fingers were spread out, threw it in the bullpen, and it was like, I mean, at first I was throwing like a true sinker at 100, and I mean that was pretty similar to the four seam I was throwing, with just a lot less vert. And I split my fingers a little bit more and ended up getting some depth on it, and that was kind of when I saw the biggest difference when it was upper 90s. I mean, sometimes touching 100, but probably sitting mid to upper 90s. Um, Kind of going under bats, and then that was when I could use because my four seam doesn't have much vert anyways, which I don't know if this makes sense. Like I'm just like the induced spin where it kind of looks like it goes up.
Mhm.
Mine doesn't really do that as much, but I have a low release, so it's just one of those things where I could use the four seam to go over bats, the splinker sinker to go under bats, and then the slider could play off both of those. It's almost like trying to find something that goes in a triangle, four seam up, sinker down and arm side, and slider down and glove side. So it was one of those where just kind of get people off the four seam. I think at the beginning of my career, it was just everybody knows what I'm going to throw, and I was sometimes could didn't really have anything to get them off of that. So I think that was a huge change just to have those two pitches to to get people off the four seam, and I feel like it helped the four seam play even better.
Yeah, absolutely. Ever any thought about throwing? I know Emmanuel Clase's got 101, and it's impo like that's not a realistic pitch, but like 100-mile-an-hour cutter type of thing.
Yeah, I've been actually this off season just kind of just thinking about that. For me, it's definitely trying to get my slider maybe a little harder, and then worry about that. But I mean, that would be awesome. At the end of the day, it kind of goes down to like release how you release the ball. Like if you're a big pronator or supinator, and so it's just kind of trying to figure out if that's even physically possible for me because I've never really been able to cut the ball, but that's something that I would like to do. So just kind of working on that this off season and kind of see where that ends up.
Awesome. Well, I mean, you heard it here first. If he starts throwing a 100-mile-an-hour cutter like Emmanuel Clase, I mean, whew, that's a lot of fun, man.
Right.
I don't want to get in a box against you, man. Like that's scary, especially with
Yeah,
that arm angle.
he's awesome to watch. I mean, it's kind of one of those. I mean, I played against I don't know if the name Kevin Kopps is familiar, but played against him in college at Arkansas, and everybody knew he was throwing that cutter, and it was nobody could hit it. So that's always something that I mean, you see that you're like, I mean, I want to throw that. So I mean, Clase's doing it at 100, so it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, last question for you, Nate. And take it away. I know you got it.
Yes. Speaking of your days at Tennessee against Arkansas, the Angels drafted one of your former teammates, Christian Moore. Uh, Tell us a little bit about him. Any fun interactions with him? We got to hear a little bit about the Cortez interaction with him. So, do you have any fun interactions with him?
Yeah, I mean, he was my last year there. He was a freshman, and you could just kind of tell he had a little different. I guess you call it swagger about him. Like he's a confident kid, and that's fun to play with because you know what you're going to get every day. He's going to go all out, and he loves to win. So I mean, even from his first year at Tennessee, I got to see that, and I mean, it was exciting to see. We had kind of an everyday second baseman, so he didn't get to play as much, but every time he was in there, it was kind of game changing. You could tell that. I mean, if you play as a freshman in the SEC, it's usually a good sign. And kind of got to from the sidelines, got to see him grow up his last 2 years, just from watching games and being around campus in the off season, and then when he had that last year at Tennessee, it was everyone was kind of surprised, like where did this come from? But I mean, everybody that was around him kind of saw it coming. Like he had kind of had a different way about him, and it was exciting to see. And I mean, I was hoping that we would get a Tennessee guy, obviously in the draft, and knowing that he kind of had that year, I was like, I mean, I could easily see it being him, and obviously ended up getting drafted by us, and got to talk to him on the phone a few times and over text and whatnot, and just can tell he wants to win, and that's what obviously anybody wants in their organization. So it was really cool to see that, and got to see him a few weeks ago, or I think it was last weekend at the Bama Tennessee game. And I mean, he looks great. He's excited for the future, and I'll get to see him in hopefully in camp this year, and just see what he can do. I'm excited for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. A big couple of weeks for you, or let's say a big couple months for you Tennessee fans. You get a
Mm-hmm.
baseball national championship, and then you go beat Alabama, and I know that's a huge rivalry for you guys. So anytime you can beat Bama, it's a good week for you guys.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I was at the game, and just the energy around Tennessee sports is different from anything I've ever. I mean, I grew up a Tennessee fan, grew up in Knoxville, and it just feels different. I mean,
Yep.
obviously, hate to lose to Arkansas a few weeks ago, but hopefully we're kind of turning it around and got a few big games coming up, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, maybe you guys can make the playoffs in
Yeah,
football and baseball, and
yeah,
maybe two national championships.
that's the thing. I mean, make the playoffs, anything can happen. So I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely,
hoping to see that one here in Knoxville soon.
absolutely.
I definitely didn't see you down on the field with the goalpost, man. Come on, you know.
Yeah, I was there in I think it was 22 when we went on the field, but I was like, I feel like we shouldn't be doing that. I mean, we should expect that at this point. So it was fun to see, but I didn't go down there.
I mean, Bama's Bama, so anytime you can beat those guys up, I'm sure it's a good feeling. So,
True, it is very good feeling.
all right. Well, thank you, Ben Joyce, for jumping on, talking with us here at Talking Halos, taking the time. Again, talk about the hurricane relief one more time. I'm going to drop it in the description below here on YouTube as well, but talk a little bit more about it for us.
Yeah, I mean, just a place obviously very near and dear to me, East Tennessee and Western Carolina area. Um, just want to do anything I can to kind of raise some money, raise some awareness for that, even if it's not donating to my specific page. Any donation that helps those areas and all of Florida and everybody affected by those hurricanes would be awesome. But so I'm giving out a pair of signed cleats, the cleats I wore on Players Weekend. They're kind of Tennessee themed, say volunteer firemen on them. I'm gonna sign those and a signed red Angels jersey. I'm gonna anyone that donates or comments on my picture is gonna be entered into it. It's gonna be a random drawing here. I think the date is October 31st when we're gonna do the drawing, but just that you can enter to win that way if you donate to me, or even just any cause you donate to is going to be awesome. Just any support for those people that, I mean, their whole lives are uprooted. So it's a important thing for me, and just want to do anything I can help.
Absolutely. Great cause, fantastic cause. Please go help out Ben. Anything that you guys can do can help. For all of us here at Talking Halos, again, thanks for watching us. Thanks for taking the time. Go ahead, follow us on all our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can follow myself on X, Jared_Tims, Nate at NateGreen34. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a great rest of your day.